This is the DingBox D2. This is one of those Chinese streaming boxes that comes with a lot of those proprietary apps, and you can also get a lot of movies and TV shows for just the cost of the box. However, this is the first cloned streaming box that I've done a review on. So what is the difference between a cloned Chinese streaming box and a non-cloned Chinese streaming box? Well, I've got some answers, and if you're curious about that, keep watching because you're watching Blue Collar Guy. Okay, so this is the DingBox D2, and I'm going to show you on face what a cloned Chinese streaming box looks like because I have something to show you. This is the SuperBox S7 Max. Do you see any similarities between these two? Well, other than the title, they look almost identical. Even the artwork is very similar. But there is some differences in cloned Chinese streaming boxes, and you need to know this information. This is very important because there's some advantages of a cloned streaming box, and some of the ones that are out there in the market, you're going to want to stay away from them, and I'm going to explain why. So before we go any further, I need to give you a disclaimer. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. I do not condone any illegal activity. Please consult with your local country's laws in regards to the copyright rules on these boxes and the third-party apps, because it could impact you in a negative way. And I don't want you to get into trouble if you buy one of these boxes and use those third-party apps. So before we go any further on that, buying the box isn't against the law. It's the third-party apps that can get you into the trouble. So the other disclaimer that I want to give you is this video is not sponsored. DingBox did not pay for the production of this video. I am not a DingBox affiliate. I don't get a commission if you buy one of their boxes. I also am not an Amazon affiliate. So I just wanted you to know that I don't have membership fees, no Patreon, none of that. If you watch the video to the end, that's the only way I get paid. And by the way, I also have to follow YouTube's guidelines when it comes to these streaming boxes. So I have to blur some things out, but I did find a way to help you learn a little bit more. So if you go to the description, there's a Facebook link, and it will take you to another platform in which I can talk about these boxes unedited. In other words, you will be able to see more of what I can't show you here. So I did address that issue. I kind of created a members only without the membership fee. So no $2.99 a month, it's free. You just click on it and it'll take you there and you can watch the unedited version. But please watch this video to the end because there is some information that is unique on this video that I'm not going to copy to the other videos. So I just wanted to let you know that. Now we're going to go to the downward shot. I'm going to show you why this box is a clone. So here we go. So here's the downward shot. I'm going to put myself in the corner. So take a look. Now this is the SuperBox S7 Max. I labeled this as with my label maker, and this is the DingBox D2. And I also use my label maker on this one. They are basically identical. So the inputs are identical: USB-C, infrared blaster, audio video input, Ethernet. And I can assure you, I've tested the processors too. I did a bench test on the processors. They are the same as well. And this one here, same thing on the back. If you look on the side, same inputs, same micro SD. Same thing here. And I'm going to show the home screen, but I do have to blur it, so forgive me for that, but I'm going to blur it because I have to follow YouTube's policies on these boxes. So let's just go to that. and this is the home screen. So they don't have anything written in the top left-hand corner, and I know it's blurred, but I'm just going to take myself out of the corner there. But even with the blurred part, if you see the other box, you'll see that the home screen, the user interface, is identical to the SuperBox S7 Max. I find that they were just as responsive. And the other thing that I want to point out, and I'm just going to go into the remote here. So the remote is a Bluetooth remote, and it sets up identical to that of the SuperBox. But there is a difference. So when I click on the customer support, and this is also blurred out, I do have to blur it out. Unedited version will be on my other platform. You'll be able to see that. It is different customer support. Now, I need to go to me for a quick second here. So on a lot of clone boxes, they do not have any customer support. I'm going to repeat that. On a lot of clone boxes, there is no customer support. And that's what separates DingBox from a lot of the other clone boxes out there, is that they are at least offering customer support. Now, the disadvantage of a cloned box is that if, let's say, SuperBox was to make any changes to their API, their apps, and they did a different security encryption, that can kick out all of the other clone boxes, meaning that those apps will no longer work on the clone boxes. Now, I just did a review on the SuperBox, and there was an update. They had an update on the apps. And I made a habit of checking out the DingBox to see if that update affected this box. It did not. That is really good news for a clone box. It did not get affected by that update. Those apps were still working. Now, it didn't do an update on this box though, but at least that update didn't affect that box. So this is the advantage of a cloned box. Usually you get them at a discount, and that discount can be anywhere from $50 to $100 cheaper than if you were to buy the other box. So if you were to buy the SuperBox, it could be $100 more than the DingBox equivalent. The disadvantage is you don't necessarily know how long it's going to work for. The average is anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. It all depends when they do their updates and if they kick out any cloned boxes in those updates. Now, the fact that DingBox has customer support tells me that they do not want to lose any customers. They do not want to have any bad press, any bad reviews, anything like that. If they didn't care about that, they wouldn't even have customer support. I checked it out. They have email and WhatsApp. So that tells me that they have the ability to get more of the same apps, either from SuperBox and like redo them, and then you would end up having to redo the app store and reinstall them, but the box would still keep working, or they would probably find you different proprietary apps, maybe not necessarily Blue TV or Blue VOD or any of those, but they can also put those apps on their boxes too. And that's a good thing because they do offer mid-tier apps also on the box. And those are not bad apps. And I'm going to show you what those apps are on my other platform. So I can't show them here, but I know but I do have to follow YouTube's guidelines. That is my little educational lesson on the difference between a cloned streaming box and a non-cloned streaming box, is that there usually isn't any type of warranty and there is no app support. These guys appear to be handling things a little differently. They have, in fact, legitimized their cloned version by offering support, and that's a good thing. And I have to give them a lot of credit for that, because I could have just as easily found out that this box could have been, you know, basically just your typical Android box that you overpaid for as soon as those apps quit working. But SuperBox just did an update just today, and it didn't affect the other box. So that's a really, really good thing. It's a coincidence, but it actually answers a big question. Now, I can't guarantee that that's going to keep happening, but the fact that they do have customer support is a plus in their corner. Like I said, other clone boxes offer nothing. Now, I'm going to show you some other similarities. Remote controls, identical. So even on the DingBox, it says right there, SuperBox RC200 remote. And this is the SuperBox S7 Max. So this is what I mean by cloned. This is a cloned box. It's identical, just other than the name, that's it. Now the other thing that they did on here is they also offer channel support for the video on demand. So when I went into the video on demand, and this is blurred out, I know. And if you're wondering what this app is here, this is my own testing app. So I have my own video on demand that I test with, and I compare it with the native apps to see if it runs smoother, that this one's runs smoother than this one, or vice versa. So we're going to go into the Blue VOD, and yes, everything is blurred. But I just wanted to go into one of these movies because I'm clicking over to where it says feedback, which is in the far corner. And you can give feedback and you can submit the feedback. Now that also tells me that they're not just supporting the box with updates, but they're also supporting the streaming options as well. So if the movie doesn't play and stuff, you're able to send feedback. Now this feedback, by the way, even though this UI looks similar, it doesn't go to SuperBox. No, this goes to DingBox, and they are going to fix it. Yeah, I know. That's crazy, right? So that's how that works. They will get the feedback, not SuperBox. These are two different companies. Even though this is a cloned box, they do not support their channels. They're not going to support their channel feedback for them, is what I'm getting at. So now, let's go out of here, and I'm just going to go into live TV. And they also have the Blue Sport app too, which is the latest app from SuperBox. And they do offer feedback support on that as well. And I'm gonna check all this out, but I'm gonna do Blue TV first. And everything's working. I've got the volume down. And this is Blue TV. So they have the Blue Sport too. Let's click on that. I want to see if that one's also supported under feedback. Because this is SuperBox's newest app. So if I click on this and then I go into settings, I'm just going to go into settings, and it says I can give feedback. And it'll tell you can't play, video buffering, and all that other stuff. And then you can see, you just check that, and then it will tell you what the feedback is. So you do have feedback on here as well. And that's that. So that's that one. Now I've got to leave here and backup TV. I'm just going to confirm again that it works, and everything is performing very snappy, very well. There's no issues on that. Go to Legend Zorro. And again, I have feedback. Look, I have feedback. That's a big deal. That's a big deal for a clone box. You don't see that. Okay, now let's go into the App Store, and yes, I still have to keep blurring it. So I did some testing. I added downloader and I've added my own apps, of course, just for testing purposes, because I do like to test the VOD. Also get, and I know this is blurred, you can get Prime Cinema, Prime World, Prime TV. These are good mid-tier apps, just so you know. They function rather well. I've done reviews and I've shown them. And if you did want adult content, it is there. So you can find that there as well. So they do offer the ability to get those. And now I'm going to go back to me because just cue that up. Okay, so essentially it is a SuperBox, but a clone SuperBox with a lot of the same app access, but they offer their own support. So that support, like I said before, doesn't go to SuperBox, it goes to DingBox. When you do the boot up, it says DingBox, it doesn't say SuperBox. Other than the box itself and the fact that we know that it's a SuperBox, judging by the remote control, tells me that it's definitely a clone. Whenever I see a remote control that says the other name on it, I know for sure it's a clone. But I could tell by the user interface, they changed nothing on the user interface other than the boot up screen, the launch screen. Would I recommend this box? Well, given the fact that they offer support, the answer, I usually say no on a clone box because you don't know how long it's going to work for, and usually there's no warranty, things like that. So I'm going to say yes with a small caution. But I do feel that they have taken measures to support the box, and I have to give them good faith on that. Like I said, a lot of clone boxes, when you click on those areas, there's nothing there. You clicked on customer support, nothing would come up. That is the whole purpose of a clone box. People usually buy a clone box because they want to save $50 or $100, and they're willing to take the chance of how long it's going to operate for. And on the low end, they operate for roughly 6 months. And on the high end, they usually operate for 18 months. I think this one will actually last longer. Why? Well, for starters, they even have the mid-tier apps. Those mid-tier apps aren't going to disappear. So let's say for the sake of argument that SuperBox did do an encoding or an encryption update and this box didn't operate those apps. You would still be able to use those mid-tier apps. Nothing's going to happen with those. The other thing is that even though it's a clone box, the basic operating system, it's not going to brick. In other words, you can still use it as a box. It's the apps that would not be working. But the fact that you could still access the Prime and all that, and still access thousands of movies, it's still going to be a very viable box. If they were able to clone the apps once, they could probably do it again. And that's what I'm getting at that. So is it a pretty good risk? I think it's a viable risk, but just make sure you get it at the right price. Now, if they give me a promotional code, I'll make sure I put that in the comments and I will pass it on to you. I don't get anything out of it. I just want to pass that savings on to you. So that's it for this video. Now I do have the extended unedited version as I talked before, and the link will be in the description. It's a Facebook link and you will click on it twice and it will take you to the other version of it, and I'm sure you'll be happy with anything you didn't see here. I will address there. Plus I will be talking about different things there. I don't like to regurgitate a bunch of stuff, but I will have to touch base on the physical properties and things like that for all of the people on that platform that never seen this video. So I hope you understand, and thank you for watching all the way to the end. It is the only way that I get paid, and I really appreciate the support. And if you support my way of thinking about not having to charge people subscription fees and the $2.99 and all the rest of that other stuff, hit like on this video and share it. I encourage you. Let's send YouTube a message that this is what we all want as blue collar people. We want to just be able to watch a video without being harassed for money and things like that. So anyways, take care, be safe at work, and I will see you at the next video because, believe it or not, I got even more streaming boxes on the way and other stuff too. I also have the DJI Action 6. I do other types of reviews as well, so I get into all kinds of tech stuff. So if that kind of thing interests you, don't forget to hit that notification bell. Bye.